where you sort of already have a path laid out for you somewhat. Your character should help you interact with the play space and other players authentically and immersively, because essentially you're creating it for your own purposes. And so you can use your character to help you explore aspects of how you as an individual want to interact with the world. So an example of that, my character for the Hobbits Hoedown is just an exaggerated version of some of my own personal traits, because I'm playing with what I know, but you know, I would behave in a way that I might not otherwise in normal life.
I think it's really common sometimes for people to choose aspects of their own person and then turn that up to 11, which is great. It means that you can explore aspects of yourself, it makes LARP a really like effective tool for like self-discovery, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, physical game environment. I mean, we have all of these resources on our website. We have the play space that you'll be existing in, which is essentially the scout camp that we're a part of, the Girl Guides camp in Britannia Park. And then knowing what you want from the act of play and how you envision yourself playing. You all have preconceived notions of what you think this event might be like, which is why you've all bought tickets, I'm sure. You've all seen the aesthetics of things, maybe you've seen photos of people enjoying themselves at the game and you've envisioned yourself in the moments there. And that's a useful part of knowing how you want to express yourself in that space. As I said, we have resources and materials to help explain the setting and what the play space is like. That includes like what is known and unknown and seen and unseen. That includes like the tangible surfaces, like the actual location itself, people's costuming, and what do you call it? I guess the unknown, like parts of how you want to express yourself with other people and how like parts of your character then inform how you interact with other players and then how other people interact with you. It's all very nebulous. And then, in order to understand what you want from the game, think on what drew you to the event in the first place. What would you like from the game? It's important that you get what you want from the game, but we do have an emphasis on, even if you haven't read anything on our website or anything in our play materials, just think about how you want other people to feel. It is really important that you are playing in a way that is socially open, because that will open you up to cool experiences. It will give you opportunities to learn about yourself. It will give you opportunities to play with other people and expand the joy for everyone, essentially.
Yeah, and I think with that final point as well, it's, you know, with each of you, whether you've heard about it on social media or if you had a friend talk to you about it, or Desney was like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this thing, and you're like, oh man, can I make cricket bats for that? Like, there would have been something that like really grabbed your attention, and you're like, you know, if you, for the first time, like, did anyone here discover the event on social media for the first time? Yeah, okay. So presumably, if you were on social media and you saw that post, like, was some part of you imagining yourself in that space, being like, oh, that looks awesome, I want to do that. So, like, thinking about that element, like that thing that really drew you in, or like you were like, I want to do that, I want to embody that, is like,
follow that.
Yeah, follow it. It's a really good impulse to sort of like direct you, because it's like, we created our game with the intention that like those impulses people have in their heart are very pro-social and will lead people towards kindness and like communal interaction. And so that's why we encourage you to sort of like, if there was something where you're like, oh, if I went to the event, I could make this like thing that I could share with others. Like, we want you to follow that impulse. We think it's a really good and healthy impulse to follow.
Yeah. Seeing some of the things that we've expanded upon in terms of the law. So
we are getting this drawn in a bigger and fancier setting. Yeah.
So yes, we are legally distinct hobbits from the county here. Yeah. So the county encompasses 4 settlements from which the 4 families of our game originate. Each year, the hobbits of the county meet at the county route. not the other word. Which is a family reunion and a harvest festival of sorts. Specifically, it starts, I guess it's right at the bottom end of spring, at the start of summer. So the 4 families originate from the following settlements. The Higglebys are from Bark Hollow, The Fairmeadows are from Blossombrooke, the Tallows are from the Oakenborough area, and the Bluffwaters are from Mostwick. Each settlement has its own distinct character and customs, as does each family. And I'm sure everyone has gone through all of those. They understand culturally what their family is kind of about, right? Right. So, the settlements. Bark Hollow, do you know?
Yeah, so for the Higglebees, Bark Hollow is the sort of the home ground. So Bark Hollow is a warren of interconnected burrows where the Higglebees live communally. The warren has one major entrance, and the interior of the Bark Hollow warren is a patchwork of different building materials and colours, changing every time a new addition, repair, or renovation is made. So, in sort of a real sense,
the borrowers.
yeah, the borrowers, but also like the way northern hairy-nosed wombats live, where like they're living in social communities in these really large burrow complexes, but also your little human people who use like wood paneling on the walls.
Yeah.
Rather
But
than,
you've thrifted it all.
yeah.
Fabulous. So, the Fairmeadows. The Fairmeadows live in the east of the county in the village of Blossombrooke, known for its wildflower meadows and freshwater stream flowing through it. These Hobbits homes are built into the flowery hillsides, often featuring gardens growing carefully selected flower arrangements ready to be picked for the next household. You might notice that they tend to reflect the personalities of each family.
Yeah, so the Bluffwaters live in the north of the county in the hamlet of Mostwick in thatched roofed cob cottages that may sometimes be built into the ground. Although most Bluffwaters live in their own cottage, these Hobbits' homes are often built closer to one another. Many Bluffwaters will keep their own garden with raised garden beds or meticulously kept vegetable patches. So this is like thinking of, I don't know if anyone's familiar with like those Neolithic structures in the north of Scotland where it's like half sunk into the ground, but with a thatched roof, that kind of thing. But again, living very closely to one another, you know, a big focus on that sort of like being meticulous and like making sure things are kept orderly. I don't know, it's not my vibe. I don't fully get it.
Yeah. That's all right. The Tallows, they live in the west of the county in Oakenborough, a forest where these Hobbits' homes are burrowed into various oak tree roots underground. The oldest and biggest tree is centered in the middle of Oakenborough Forest and is a communal burrow for gatherings, music sessions, and other special occasions like a town hall. Think the 100-acre woods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Beautiful. So, we'll make you into, and it looks great in photos. So it allows you guys to have connections with each other ahead of the game. It grounds you all in the setting with those relationships in mind. And it creates a sense of the attitude and culture of the people in the setting to help guide your role play, especially for the folks here who have yet to have laughed or done any role play of this kind of type. It kind of gives you an in. Because sometimes when you're dipping your toe into love, it can be scary for the first time to sort of be like a part of a thing and put yourself out there. Even though it's traditionally done in love spaces, we try to be a little bit more hands-on in helping you to get to that space. Because laughing is a skill.
Yeah.
We feel. It's something that you can build on. It's something that we can help you with. And so we build. So connections with other players can be used as a foundation for roleplay, interaction. We encourage you all to interact with your families ahead of the event, which is why we have those groups. If you're not in your family groups, please join them, especially if you're a Higgleby. So sad about it. This will help you to play the game as your character, and you'll have relationships within the setting. So it means that you have these inbuilt folks who are already maybe looking to get the same sort of interactions as you, and that helps you to then like reach out to other families and make friends that way as well. That's the intended purpose. It's also, if you look at it in a more game design way, these are pathways for you to experience the game.
Yeah, and that's also why we've introduced the family heads this year as well, as to help people who are new to the game and are having trouble getting in touch with one of the three of us. So they still have experienced players within their own family where they can, you know, sort of ask someone if you're not sure about like, oh, I don't know if my character would do this. It's like, and you want to check with someone else, we do have those family heads there for you to sort of approach and talk to about it as well.
In that vein, can we have all of the family heads put their hands up? Fabulous. So could you maybe like stand up one by one and just introduce yourself, starting with Mary? Authentic immersion, which is what we're about at this particular game. There are different styles and types of genre of games that have different aims and outcomes for their players in the space that they're playing in. But for us, the key to authentically playing an immersive character is behaving as though you have originated in the setting that your character occupies. This is why it's important and helpful to create a character who feels as though they have originated from the setting of the game. It means that behaving in a way that is authentic to the character that you have created and also ties into the immersiveness of your play.
Yeah, a good way to think about this is sort of reversing it and being like, if someone saw me playing my character from the outside, would they know which game I belong to? Or would I seem like I fit in this, this world? Sometimes it's okay to sort of do something where you might need some amount of explanation, but generally if you are playing a character where you would need to explain to an external observer why you belong in the setting of the game, probably it's not a great choice because you don't want to spend your whole game explaining to people every time you meet someone, oh, I'm like this because of this. This is part of why, for example, like every year there'll be someone who's like, oh, can I play a ranger like Aragorn? It's like, no. Because that would be...
We also get the question of, can I be the one wizard who comes along to the party? That's going to be fun for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Think of the rest of the weekend,
yeah.
for goodness sake.
Because you're going to be on stilts.
And we're already did. Or they're going to be on someone's shoulders, which we already did.
Yeah.
Grand. Okay. So this means thinking about the ways your character would have been influenced by the environment in which they were raised. How did their family's culture affect them? How did they embrace the family culture, or did they rebel against it? Does your character do it? What does your character do in their day-to-day life? Have the relationships your character has with others affected who they are? Has your character developed any skills or habits as a result of their environment that they live in? Do you want to expand on that?
Yes, so thinking about the way your family's culture might have affected you. So for example, I'll use the Higglebys. It's like the character I play, Taffy Higgleby, is sort of like, he's the sort of cartoon of what a Higgleby might be. He's a silly guy. He loves to tell a tall tale. He loves a prank. He loves to wind people up and get wound up. Yeah, this is wild. But in terms of with that second point of rebel against it, so for example, if the Higgleby family, if you were to be like, I'm a Higgleby, but I'm the black sheep of the Higglebys. So in that case, you'd probably be like almost cartoonishly sensible. You would be the most deeply sensible person in the game, more sensible than any bluff order even, because you've swung so far in the other direction. And that in and of itself might be, something of a lighthearted thing that you, the person playing the character, are doing, that your character might be, sensible to the point of absurdity. And that's something that is, generally it's like creating a character that's going to generate like conflict or confrontation is not the ideal. But, it's like, if you think about how, if within your own family you might have, it might even be you, like someone who sort of seems to stand out, but it's like you still love your family members, and that's still the environment where you come from, and the fact that you are different might actually be, like, it might be in reaction to your family you become that way.
But it also helps to, like, kind of be a springboard for any kind of play. So if you were to be, I guess, a grossly sensible person within the Higgleby family, you could totally have someone who is completely in a different direction and have them be best friends. And then you have a connection there that you can play off of those characters. Not only is it something fun for both people in that scene to be a part of, that's fun to play off of, but everyone around them gets invited into that scene just by virtue of witnessing it. And because you're on a map, you're invited to take part in the scene as well.
It also means you get to be the automatic straight man in any hijinks.
Yes. And we are high on the hijinks.
Yeah.
Right.
You might get some inspiration from or might find handy. So these are questions that you can ask yourself about your own character. So does your Hobbit have an occupation? What kind of things does your Hobbit do for fun? What kind of friendships or relationships have they built with other Hobbits in their community? How do they fit within their family culture? Do they have a favourite food or drink? And what worries does your Hobbit have? What can't your Hobbit do without? What are their hopes and dreams? And is your Hobbit an ambitious person, or are they contented with what they have? And again, you might not have a hard and fast answer for any of these. That's okay. But like the reason these are prompts is because they can, even if you're like, I don't have a solid answer for that, it can help you sort of
Find out.
Yeah, spin the thread a bit to sort of figure out if you have anything to substantiate that.
These are all also useful things to think about when you think about costuming, which we will have a workshop for and will be touched on by Evelyn back there. But these are all useful things to put into your costuming as well, because costuming is a visual aid for anyone who comes across you. Within 10 seconds, they should know how to treat you. So when they look at you, you should say, oh, that person's a gardener. Right, you can talk to them about gardening. It gives you an in, it's an automatic invitation socially. Visually, how we present ourselves is how we want people to treat us in the real world anyways. So think about that in terms of your lab costuming. But again, we'll have a workshop for that, so if you're kind of lost on that, or if you want to learn how to do some basic sewing, we will help you